The underlying the structure of database, it is nothing but the data model. How your data is structured in the database system, it is called a data model. In simple words, how you're going to plan to store your data into a database system, it is called as data model. So what this data model will consist? This data model consists data. First thing is very important, that is data. Next, it will consist data relationship. There are different relationship among the data that are going to define in this data model. Next is data semantics. This is the structured way to keep the data, that is your data semantics. And after this, there are some consistency constraints that you need to define. So this data model, it is a collection of conceptual tools for describing data, data relationship, data semantics, and consistency constraint. We will see in the next lecture what is exactly consistency constraints. It is one type of dependency between the two tables. It is called as consistency constraints, and there could be a constraints on the column of particular present in particular table that we are going to see in detail in the next unit. So data model provides a way to describe the design of the database at the logical, physical, and view level. So this data model helps to organize our data in 3 levels. It will be helpful at the physical level, it will be helpful at the logical level, as well as it will be helpful at the view levels. So both the 3 levels we have seen in the last lecture. So data models can be classified into 4 different categories. So there are 4 different categories that we are going to see in today's lecture, and after this we have some question answers session followed by 2-3 question quiz. So first is relational model. So in this relational model, we are going to store the data in the form of relations that we are going to see. Next type is entity relationship data model. It is used mainly for the database design. So what is entity? What is the relationship among the entities that we are going to see? Next is object-based data models. In this object-based database model, all the data is stored as an object that is used for higher programming languages, and there are 2 types of it. First is object oriented, and next is object relational, and last is semi-structured data model. It is also called as XML data. So you have seen XML files wherein the data is stored, it is called as semi-structured data. So first we are going to see relational model. Relational model uses a collection of tables to represent both data and relationship among those data. So this relational model will use tables to represent data as well as the relationship. We are going to see what it will consist the relationship among the different data. In this relational model, each table has multiple columns and each column has a unique name. Keep in mind, in this relational model, each table has multiple columns and each column has a unique name. So in relational model, tables are known as relations. So what is a relation? The simple table is known as relation. The relational model is an example of record-based model. This is one of the example of record-based model. Whatever you are storing into a relation, whatever you are storing into a table, it is called as record. That's why this relational model is called as record-based model. So this is the example of relation. We have seen one table. We have considered the table, that is instructor table. So this is your table. The name of the table is instructor. The first column of the instructor table is ID. Next column of this instructor table is name, wherein we are going to store the name of the instructor. Third column of this instructor is department name. So this is our department name, wherein we are going to store department name. And next is salary, wherein we are going to store the salary. So this table is called as relational table or relation. Simply it is called as relational. So again I am repeating, relational model is represented with the help of table. Each table will have a unique columns, ID. For example, here in instructor table, ID is a column, name is a column, department name is column, and salary is column. And each column will store that particular values. I mean, in this ID column, we can store all the IDs of the instructor. In the name column, we are going to store name of all the instructors. Sorry. And in this department name, we are going to store all the department names only. And in the salary column, we are going to store salary of every employee, that is instructor. So here it is. This is the idea of this instructor, Einstein. Department is physics and his salary is 95,000. So this is called as record. This is called as one record, and it is stored in row. It is stored in row. So this second is 12121. Name is Wu and department is finance, and his salary is 90,000. So this is our second row, and this is called as our second. This is called as our second record. So likewise, we can keep n number of records into this instructor table. So this is called as rows, and whereas this is called as columns. So technically, in the database notation, this is called as attribute. This ID is called as first attribute. This name is called as second attribute. This department name is called as third attribute. And this salary is called as the fourth attribute. So column is called as attributes in the database notation. Whereas these rows are called as tuples. These rows are called as tuples. So here it is, the first ID, this 22222, and name is Einstein, department physics, 95,000 is salary. It is called as one tuple. This is called as one tuple. So likewise, we have n number of tuples in our relation. So again, I'm repeating, this is the table in relational model. This table is called as relation. Relation consists the columns and rows. These columns are technically called as attributes, whereas rows is called as the tuples. So this is called as relational model. This is called as relational model. So next example is entity relationship model, data model. So in this data model, it uses a collection of basic objects. It is called as entities. And we are going to find out the different relationship between these entities. So that's why it is called as entity relationship data model. An entity is a thing or a particular object in the real world that is distinguishable from other objects. What is entity? Entity is a thing or object in the real world. For example, instructor is an entity. It's distinguishable from other objects. Or take another example, customer. Customer is again one entity in the real world. So this is called as entity. So this model is widely used in database design. Entity relationship model is widely used in database design. So this is diagrammatical representation of the entity relationship. So in the real world, instructor is an entity. Instructor is an entity, whereas department is also an entity. This particular entity has its own properties. For example, instructor will have ID, name, salary, and this department will have department name, building, and budget. So these are the two entities in the real world. So what happened with these entities? There is a relationship between these entities that we have to find out. So what is the relationship between instructor and department? Here it is the relationship, which is shown in the diamond box. So instructor is a member of the department. Instructor is a member of the department. So this member is a relationship between these two entities, instructor and department. So this is the diagrammatical representation of the ER data model, that is entity relationship data model. So models an enterprise as a collection of entities and relationships. For designing a database for a particular organization, first of all, you have to find out the different entities in that particular organization. And then you have to find out the relationship between this, and based on this, you are going to develop the database. That we are going to see in the next minute, no problem. So again, I am repeating, entity, or what is entity? It is a thing or object in the enterprise that is distinguishable from other objects. What is the relationship? It is an association among several entities. So this member is called as association between instructor and department. So this is the way to represent your entity relationship data model. This is representation of entity relationship data model. Again, I am repeating, in this entity relationship data model, we have entities. For example, here it is in example, instructor is entity and department is entity. Whereas we have relationship among these entities. Here it is, we have relationship as a member, and this is the diamond which indicates, it's a notation to represent the relationship between instructor and department. So what is the relationship between instructor and department is? Instructor is a member of department. Instructor is a member of department. So this is the relationship between instructor and department. So this is the way to design your entity relationship data model. So this is the diagrammatic representation of it. So next is object-based data models. Just try to understand this thoroughly because these are some advanced data models in database system. I am not going to focus it. I will just introduce this to you. So in this data model, it is an extended the relational data model by including the object orientation and construct to deal with added data types. So as like object orientation concepts in higher programming languages like Java, C++ and so on. So database is used object orientation in database to deal with such kind of programming languages. It allows attributes of tuple to have complex types, including non-automatic values such as nested relations. Next, it preserves relational foundations. In particular, the declarative access to data while extending modeling power. So it provides upward compatibility with existing relational model. So this object-based data model will make use of objects to store the data into a database model. Next is semi-structured data model. It is also called as XML. The semi-structured data model permits the specification of data where individual data items of the same type may have different sets of attributes. So in real world, there could be a situation in a particular set of attributes, you could have different attributes. So in such kind of scenarios, we can make use of this semi-structured data model to store your data. So extended markup language, that is XML, is widely used to represent the semi-structured data. So if suppose you are going to, if you have seen the XML files, suppose you open it and you have seen the XML files, that the XML files consist the data. That data is called as semi-structured data. So it is defined by W3C. It's worldwide consortium to define a particular standards. So XML standard is defined by this W3C. It is originally intended as a document markup language and not a database language, but it is used to store the semi-structured data. The ability to specify new tags and to create nested tag structure made XML a great way to exchange data and not just document. So there is flexibility in XML. You can create your own tags to store the data. If you are familiar with this, then you will get the idea what is the power of these new tags and to create the nested tag structure in XML. This will be very helpful. It's as well as flexible to store your data. So XML has become the basis for all new generation data interchange formats. So it is one of the basic foundation for new generation data. So wide variety of tools is available for parsing, browsing, querying XML documents as well as data. So XML will store the semi-structured data and it is widely used for interchange the data between two things, that is client and server or client and client and so on. So it is used for sending the data from one site to another site. Site of one gets converted data into XML and then that XML file will be sent to another site for example site 2, and at that time, at that site, it will receive the data in the XML format. So I will I'm going to allocate some time